What is good, y'all? It's Ronald Bang, also known as Youcapper from sportsmemo.com. This is Let's Cap. Got probably a quick show today. Just going to run through two games with SDQL and then maybe do a quick Q&A or quick live cap if anyone has a game that they want to see, and we could probably break down live. So we'll see how that goes. And that is it as far as just like what we're going to be doing today. So let's get straight into it. The first game I want to look into is this Mets and Braves here. Mets are visiting the Braves. The Braves are favorited minus 125. Total is at 7. And let me just bring up spodevs.com first. That's usually the one that I usually start with to get like the quick analysis first. If anyone has questions in the chat, please feel free to ask them. Mention any trends or anything you want to look up on SDQL as well. So we have the Mets here visiting the Braves. Scherzer versus Fried. And this is a very, very good matchup here between two strong pitchers. And that's the reason why this line is pretty tight, especially with Fried at home. And you can see his record here. The Braves 13-4 overall this season with him on the mound, and Scherzer 6-3 for them there. If we look at most recent form, 3-0 for Fried, 1.37 ERA, getting deep into these games, about 6.5 runs innings pitched per outing, and he's getting a lot of run support and not giving out a lot of runs. So that's how that's going, and we're going the other way here with Scherzer 1-2 with just a 0.96 ERA. So that's telling me he is not getting a lot of run support. I think there was one game where he got a whole bunch of runs, and the other two games where he barely got any. So that's what we're looking at today with the starting pitchers. If we look at the evenings, public here on max over 7.5. Yeah, that's what I was looking at too, Mitch. The 7.5 Ks. I actually think it was at 8. I thought I saw it at 8 or something, 8.5 last night when I was initially looking at it. But I do agree with that 7.5 Ks. If we look at evening here, Fried 12-2. He does well at night. At home 2.66. Same thing here with Scherzer. It really is just the run support here is the difference, in my opinion. So if we look at the batting splits, home and away, the Mets actually hit lefties by average better than they do righties on the road, but the run support is not there. They hit more home runs against righties. So that's where the run support is coming from. Then the Braves here, 248 average hit against righties at home, less than they do against lefties, and the run support is a little bit less. So that's interesting there. You can see the run support in those spots. If we look at recent games, Braves are hitting righties a lot better here. So you're getting a lot of run support. 6.4, hitting over 300 in that spot. If we look at bullpen, home and away, you could trust the Mets bullpen a little bit better here in this spot on the road and home splits. So that's one thing to know. If we go to give me the dog here, bring in some SDQL. What is your on? Sorry, Markel. Go ahead and if you can ask that question again. I don't really understand what you're asking. What is this your? And then so let's bring up. Braves here. And how they do against starting right-handed pitchers. Again, look at it from a record perspective, which helps a lot. And let's say that they are the home favorites. So they've actually won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row here. And 5 of those went under. So 5-2 to the under. 1 and 2, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-1 to the under, in those last 6 games in the six games straight that they won. So just looking at that current form, Braves are doing well and keeping teams under. So look, if you look at 3, 3, 1, 0, 2, and 3, if we look at Max Fried specifically in this spot here, so we're looking at the team equals the Braves. Their opponent is a right-handed pitcher. They're a home favorite, and it's Max Fried here, 7-3 straight up. If we're looking at the first five, that first five under looks pretty solid. 8-2 to the under here, averaging around 3.5 runs. So I think that's actually where the first 5 runs is right now. So there's not a lot of value there in this spot here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight wins for him here, 4 straight unders. So current form in this spot is really good for Fried. And you're getting him at -130 is a good price for a pitcher of his stature here. So let's go to the Mets side and see if we can see something that goes away from this one. What are you, Markel? Oh, so these two sites here is what I use typically to cap games. From a record perspective, it's easy for me to kind of just see things at a quick analysis or pull information that I want to look into. So how teams do in certain spots that you don't typically easily find on the internet somewhere. So this is something that I've been using for a while. I want to say like 10 years now. So that's these sites weren't available. There were other sites that had the same language, SDQL, which is what I'm using here. The syntax here is SDQL. So those are you can see the links in the description as well, Markel. So if you want to look into that stuff, that's down there. JP, you got the Braves better offense, Fried strong at home, 100%. That's where I was kind of looking here, is towards the Braves. So just to get a little bit more support, I want to look at the Mets here and Scherzer in this same spot. So first thing is Mets versus left-handed pitchers, 19-3 straight up in this spot. Let's say that they are on the road. 10-7, still pretty solid here. And let's look at if they are the dog. 3-3 straight up. If we look at first 5, 3-1 as a dog. So it looks like these have some pushes here, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it looks like they're giving up a lot of runs here. Current form, not too strong here. You're seeing like a lot of back and forth with the wins and losses. 3 of the last 4 wins, 2 1-1 on the total here towards the over. So I mean, not really strong support here. The one thing to note is, let's look at, that's the run support, 4.5. So let's look at Scherzer in this spot. Yeah, that's one thing that I was looking at as well. JP is the Mets after a loss. That's one of the big trends that we actually cashed on, I think, 2 days ago. Actually, let's bring that up if you want to look at the record here. So the Mets following a loss, 25-7 straight up full game. If they are the favorite, 16-5 on the run line. So I think that's where the big difference is, right? Because today they're the dog. Mets 11-2 for the game. Yeah, you guys are bringing up some good stuff, guys. Let's do this in SDQL. So after a loss and then they're a dog, that's where it becomes a little bit different. 6-6 straight up, 6-5. So there's a difference between when they're coming off of a loss and a favorite versus coming off a loss and a dog. They're a lot stronger when they're coming off of a loss and they are the favorite, but they are the dog in this spot here. And they've lost 2 in a row. They've only scored 1 in the last 2 games in this spot here as well. So it's pretty. That's an interesting thing to know. I mean, like, we talk about trends all the time and how strong trends are. That 25-7, what was it? Let's go back to that. 25-7 strong off a loss. You just don't blindly tell those because you want to look into the detail of those games as well. So to me, I mean, I still think I still think the lean is towards the Braves here. And sorry, when they came off a loss. Good to know. Yeah. That's the reason why we do these shows, JP, is to look into the detail of it, because sometimes these trends are a little bit misleading. Like I throw trends out on Twitter all the time, but that's just like information, right? Things to support your play, whether or not you're on it or against it. But you always want to make sure you do your due diligence and look into the details of it. So, like I said, that 25-7 is a strong trend off of a loss. But if you go into it and you say that they are the dog, 6-6 is not as strong. So definitely something to take note into there. I want to go back into that Braves again, because 6-4 as a frontline dog, current form. This one might end up a pass. This might end up being a pass for me, but I think looking at the overall numbers, I would lean towards the Braves here. Braves value F5. Let's look at that. LJ from H-Town. We can definitely pull this up in SDQL. In their last 27 games. Just say the last month. So today date is greater than or equal to 20. All right, so what I did was just pull back from a month ago. So 5-10, 2020, the team equals Braves. Sorry, that's not even a month ago. This is almost 2 months ago. Let's go back to June. Keep pulling up. All right, there. Yeah, so there's that 21, 5, and 3 is the number I got here from June 10th. And if we say that they are at home in those spots, 11-4, 12-3-2 straight up, 12-2-1 straight up in the first 5. I think we're still seeing a lot of value on the full game, more so than the first 5. So I think in my opinion, to get freed at this number here at -130, -125, or wherever you're getting at, I think that there's a lot of value there, especially at home as a favorite. So I think I would strongly lean that way with the Braves money line full game. And I wouldn't make that official yet. I think I want to do a little bit more research on that one, but definitely a strong lean towards that Braves Braves money line in this spot here. The next game that I wanted to look up is the Diamondbacks and Giants. Giants are -160, totals at 7.5. I'm gonna go into the details here again. I think this is the last game of the day. Actually, don't know if you guys can see that. Last game of the day, we got Merrill Kelly and Alex Cobb. 2 pitchers. We're looking at the numbers here, sort of in different directions. 5 ERA for Cobb, 3.42 for Merrill Kelly. The WHIP here, 1.4 for Cobb, 1.23 for Kelly. I think the run support for the Diamondbacks is an issue here, especially when Kelly starts. And if we go to the starter analysis, Cobb 8-4 to the over, and Kelly 9-8 to the under on the season. And spot wise, so we're looking at Kelly on the road, 5-2 straight up, 3.55 ERA. Cobb 2-5, so the other way, and 4.02 ERA. Like we said, the run support here is not good for them. 6.29 ERA, 6.29 runs support for Kelly on the road, so that's good for him. if we're looking at the batting splits, Kelly over 4.5 Ks. I like that look, Mitch. I do like that look a lot. And you can see here the Giants do strike out a little bit more against righties than they do against lefties in these spots. And if we look at the recent form, yeah, even larger strikeout rate here. Especially against righties, they're not seeing the ball well at all. The last 4 or 5 games here against righties on the road. In general, the Diamondbacks, they don't see righties at all that well on the road here, just above 200 average wise. They get a lot of home runs on the road though. That's one thing. Let's see if Cobb gives up home runs. Not a high rate for giving up home runs. So that's interesting to note. And the total, I believe, is at 8, right? So we're looking at bullpen here. The bullpens are bad for both teams here. That's probably where a lot of the runs come in afterwards, after the starters come off. Let's go here. Let me look at the chat here. Mitch with the over 4.5 Ks on Kelly. Giants 26, 13, and 2 first 5 over. We can look at that first 5 over. That's interesting because you say first 5 over, and we just looked at the bullpens, and the bullpens were pretty bad. So we'll look into that a little bit. Cobb at home is better value. Bats have been soft lately. Fittings, yeah, the Giants' bats have been pretty bad lately. All right, let's look at the Giants here. Giants at home. Let's see the complete results. They've lost 4 straight at home, and they have not been putting up runs at all in these spots here. All right, so let's see if they are the home favorite. There's the overs that you were talking about, 22, 9, and 2 to the over as a home favorite. And we're looking at the run line here. If we're looking at the run line, 9 and 22, a full game run line, and then 12 and 20 on the first 5 run line there as a favorite. Let's look at starter in this spot. So let's look at Alex Cobb in this spot here. But Alex Cobb is a home favorite, 2 and 5 straight up, 1 and 5 on the run line. If we look at the first 5 run line, 1 and 5 there. And here's that 6 and 1 to the over first 5. So definitely looking at that first 5 over. Who mentioned that? LJ from Asian. That, yeah. So that's a pretty good look there. First 5 over with Alex Cobb in this spot. And maybe let's look towards the D-backs here on the money line, maybe, or the run line first 5. So Merrill Kelly as a dog. So there's the opposite here on the first 5 over under. So Kelly as a dog, 7, 4, and 1 to the under, 8 and 4 on the first 5 run line. So that might be the way that we look here, that first 5 run line. So if we're looking at run support 2.31, giving up 1.85. He is getting a good amount of run support, especially in those last 4 spots in here on this one. Let's see, as a road dog. Yeah, 4 and 1 on the run line first 5 run line as a dog here. I think D-backs first 5. I actually like that first 5 run line in this spot. What are the lines here for that? First 5 run line for the D-backs is -110. The money line is at 135, plus 135. I could do that. I actually like that Diamondbacks first 5 run line here at -110. That's not a bad price for what we're seeing here. All right. Yeah, I'm actually going to make that one official here. Fading the Giants' bats current form, and then also looking at these pitching spots here, they're going in opposite directions, and Merrill Kelly is the guy that we want to back in this spot. So Diamondbacks first 5 run line is probably what I would give out today on Let's Cap as an official play, and it's -110. There you go. So those were actually the 2 games that I had that I was eyeing. Didn't have a play before the show, and now I have one, which is this Diamondbacks first 5 run line, -110. I would lean towards the Braves full game. I like the price here with Fried at home as a favorite. But that's pretty much it, guys. Anyone have any questions? We can move on to. I could bring up anything in SDQL that you guys want to see. Any trends that you feel like you guys want to dive into. We can do a little bit of myth busting here. Just like the whole Mets after a loss thing, right? We saw that 25-7 money line towards the Mets after a loss, but then when they're a dog in the spot, that's where it gets a little tricky. So hey, we can always look up stuff like that if anyone has questions. If not, that's probably it for me. Mets game under. Let's look at that. All right, Markel, let's look at this Mets game here. Braves. Oh, we just looked at that. Let's just look at the total then. Actually, let's skip that one, Marco, because we went through that one. Let's go through a new game. White Sox Guardians. JP with the White Sox Guardians. Let's look at that one. And we had if you guys watched the cycle this morning, we did have a play on the White Sox here. And it was a pitching prop. It was Lance Lynn under 4.5 Ks. Under 4.5 Ks. Guardians, they don't strike out at a high rate, and we'll see that here in a bit. They make a lot of contact. Maybe they don't win. They don't get a lot of run support or anything like that. But the thing is, they get a lot of contact. So that's what we saw and why we took Lance Lynn under his K prop. So we got Lynn here versus Quantrill on the White Sox. Okay, yeah, we can look into that. So we have Lynn here, 2-0 on the road, 2-1 the last 3 starts. 5.09 ERA though. So it looks like maybe he's getting a lot of run support in those spots. And then Quantrill 1-2 current form last 3 games, and then 5-3 straight up at home. 3.24 ERA at home. If we're looking at the over unders, 5-2-1 here at home to the over, 1-1 over under for Lynn there on the road. And the batting splits here, and this is where we looked at that Lance Lynn under Ks, right? So 5.28 strikeouts at home against starting right-handed pitchers. That is a very, very low number. So that's the reason why we took that under. And if we're giving Lance Lynn 4.5 Ks at the total, that means he has to pitch like 7-8 innings to reach that amount typically for his K rate. So he's at 5.67 strikeouts here, close to 6 innings pitched per in recent form. And if we're looking at run support, 4.3, 4.0, pretty similar. Batting average 2.58, 2.4. The strikeout part is the biggest gap there. And then we're looking at bullpens here. The bullpen for the White Sox a lot more trustworthy on the road than the Guardians bullpen at home. If we look at current form, a little bit better here. Still a low K rate. So I still trust that under Ks for Lance Lynn. So let's go into Give Me the Dog and pull some White Sox with Lance Lynn, 4-1 straight up. So you guys were both leaning. I think some of you guys in the chat were leaning towards the White Sox full game. Lance Lynn, 4-1 straight up here. Won the last two. That's interesting here. That the 8 runs by the Twins. And they are the favorite by a small margin, if I'm not correct or mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, it's actually going down to even in some spots. I mean, towards even in some spots. Okay. Let's look at Quantrill at home. Five and 3 at home. Win, win, win. Loss and win. Twins, Red Sox, A's, Rangers, Royals. So a few of these wins aren't really that strong. They lost against the Red Sox. I mean, Rangers, Royals, and the A's aren't really, I mean, nothing too crazy to think about there. And they went against Bundy here. Right, so 2.88 on the first 5 for the run support in his spots. I don't know if I see anything big here. Let's see. All right, so I'm looking at Guardians against the starting right-handed pitcher at home. All right, what happened here? And we see the low K rate here. Looking at current form. They play the Yankees, Twins. All right. Yeah, for me, I don't see a strong support on either side or total. I mean, just based off of what we just looked at, I still believe in that Lance Lynn under 4.5 Ks. So that would be the way that I would go here. The Rockies, Diamondbacks. Yeah, we talked about. I believe we talked about Rockies, Diamondbacks. Yeah, we talked about. Sorry, Rockies not playing the Diamondbacks. Let's go back to that. Let's look at the Rockies here. Rockies and Padres. Okay. All right, Manea here versus Urena. Just one. Okay, well, 1 start. So not a lot of data here for him. Starter analysis. 1 and 2. Current form for Manea. A road 3 and 5. 10-4, 10-4-1 to the over. The bats here. Padres don't hit against righties as well as they do against lefties on the road. 5 runs. Run support, though. We have the Rockies. They hit lefties better than they do righties at home. 6.63 runs there. Bullpens, 5.22 versus 4.14 on the road. It's always interesting because you're playing in Coors Field, right? So that's one thing that's always interesting there. Let's go to Give Me the Dog and bring up the Padres. Padres and Rockies, they faced each other 7 times so far. Rockies at home versus lefties. Yep, that's a good one there, Mitch. We saw that Rockies versus lefties at home. Padres versus Rockies. Rockies, they actually do a pretty good job here against the Padres, 5-2. First 5 is towards the over. From a side perspective, leaning towards the Rockies, just on this season's record. And they are the dog today. The Rockies are. Let's see. The Rockies at home dog. Run line 6-10. Current form, they've won. Oh, they've actually been doing pretty good at home as dogs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They won 6 of their last 7 spots here as home dogs. And Dodgers, couple of W's there. And 3 of the wins were against the Padres in the last series. Win scares me for the win there. Just Coors Field in general, you probably expect a lot of runs. And let's look at the starting pitcher. Oh yeah, that's he hasn't had a lot of starts this season. He faced the Dodgers 1-2, and this was on the road. I mean, even on the road to limit the Dodgers to just 2 runs is pretty good. Okay. Five of the last 7 games have gone over. For who? I would lean towards the Rockies in this spot here. This is current form and how well they've faced the Padres already this season. And they are the dog. So that's, that might be the way that I look here. Let me go back to that. Under. I'm getting some different. 5 of the last 7 games have gone over. I'm getting a different record. LJ, maybe you're talking about the first 5 is what you're talking about, and then the full game goes under in these spots. That might be what you're talking about here. But yeah, that would probably be the way that I look in this one. Would be towards the Rockies here, and to get them at plus money in this spot where they do pretty well, especially in the current form, that's probably good the way that I would go. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think the one official that I gave out was D-backs first 5 run line -110, and then also gave out the Lance Lynn K's under 4.5. That'd be the way that I go for those. I would probably. I'm looking at that Braves money line as well for full game. I think that's a good spot as well. Shark just posted a play. Oh, he posted his plays today. First 5 under 3.5. Yeah, didn't we talk about that game earlier, Mitch, on the cycle? I think that that aligns with that under as well. What did we say for the cycle? We said Phillies first 5. But we backed a lot about we talked a lot about not having run support there. So I definitely that under is very interesting. So that's a good look by Shark. But that's the end of the show, guys. I went through a few games. Like I said, the officials, D-backs first 5 run line -110, and Lance Lynn there for the under 4.5 Ks. If you guys didn't see the cycle, I can just drop those right now. If you guys didn't see the cycle, these were our plays. Brian Bayo. Sorry, let me do that again. Brian Bayo over 4.5 Ks -110. This is a show I do with KB, Kevin Broadus, KB sports _ on Twitter. We had the over 4.5 Ks -110 for Brian Bayo. Lance Lynn under 4.5 Ks at +102. Phillies first 5 run line +100, and the Tigers money line +115 in game 2. And just remember also the unit sizes that we do. We're not throwing 5 unit plays out there. This is the home run is our quarter unit play. The triple is a 0.5 unit. Our double is 0.75, and the single is our 1 unit play. Typically our top play of the day. So that is it. And pretty much, guys. Thanks for watching the show today. Rockin' solo today. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have a guest. So this is it. I actually think I have to check with Shark, but I believe he's gonna be on the show tomorrow. So we'll see if he's still down for that. So this is the end of the show, guys. Thanks to all who tuned in on YouTube and on Twitter. If you are on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button before you bounce. Make sure you check the links in the description as well. That's where the sites that I've been using today, Spodevs.com and Give Me the Dog are on there. So you can go directly to those sites. And as always, I have to end with this. Please remember, whether you fade us or follow us, it's on you to make that call. Good luck on all your actions. Until next time, peace.